Hello, I am your host, JP, and this will be episode 1 of JP5Takes. I'm going to take 5 hot topics of the previous week that was just ended in the NFL, and in this episode we'll talk about week 6, which just ended. I saw a lot of people talking about the Cam Newton and Kyle Allen thing. What should the Panthers do in that situation? So I'm going to dive in and talk about that. And then I'm briefly going to talk about Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Brees. Is that a similar situation? Is that the same? Should Kyle Allen and Bridgewater stay the starting quarterbacks? So I want to start off saying that, to me, the biggest thing here is wins and losers. That's what the NFL is all about. You can't perform, you can't win, you won't be in the NFL for very long. It doesn't matter what your numbers are, honestly. I think a coach would rather a quarterback to be 0 touchdowns and 3 picks and a win than the other way around. Because Cam Newton, the last 8 games, is 0-8, which is not good at all. Kyle Allen is 5-0 in his last 5 starts. He's 4-0 in this season, but he started the game last year and won it. I'm looking at Kyle Allen's numbers. They're pretty good, but they don't really jump off. He's got 901 yards. He's got 7 touchdowns, 0 picks, and a 65% completion percentage. All of those are good. None of those really jump out on you and say, well, he's an elite quarterback. And I don't think the Panthers are asking for an elite quarterback when you have a running back with, in my mind, could be the best back in the league right now, Christian McCaffrey. You have a defense that's playing really well now. For someone to be 0 picks, I think that's the big thing. Now, Kyle Allen does have 6 fumbles and he lost 4. That could be something that, people that once Cam Newton back in say, well, he may not be throwing picks, but he's fumbling the ball. When you go back to Cam Newton, he played 2 games this season. Both of them, in my mind, was really bad. The last 3 games he played last season, it was really bad. He had 2 touchdowns and 6 interceptions in the last 3 games of last season, okay? And then this year, he was 0 touchdowns and a pick. So really, what is that? That's 7 picks in the last 5 games, and that is 2 touchdowns in the last 5 games. So not very well, not very good at all. And a lot of people, the Cam Newton fans are like, he can't stay, he's not healthy right now. He's not healthy. Wait till he gets healthy. Under North Toronto, they can actually do something. And, you might have an argument there, but the problem is Cam Newton's getting older. Older he gets, harder it is for him to stay healthy. Because when is Cam Newton at his best? Cam Newton is at his best is when he's running through people, when he's doing the read options, he's running. Because in my mind, Cam Newton has never been a good pocket quarterback. He's never been that guy to me. Even in his best years, he needs his legs. Because he had that one year, he was an MVP. He took the Panthers to the Super Bowl. Congratulations, good job. That was a good season. But that's one out of his whole career. I don't think I would think that he could just magically do that the next year he starts. If it's the rest of this season, if it's next season, I don't think he's going to go back to that. I really don't. Because older he gets, he's going to have his injuries pile on. Because, I think if he comes back, he's going to have something to prove. And he's going to have to start doing the way that he was when he's successful. And that's running the ball. And I just don't know if he can stay healthy anymore doing that. And so if it was up to me, I think I would go with Kyle Allen. And I know a lot of people are saying, can they really win the Super Bowl with Kyle Allen? And honestly, I'll say this, in my opinion, I'm going to probably say no. But I'm looking at this in a Ron Rivera way. And I think his seat's a little hot. I do. And I think what he wants is the playoffs, okay? I really do. Because, it's very, very rare that a head coach takes your team to the playoffs and gets fired. And I think Kyle Allen can keep doing what he's doing now. You can make the playoffs. That makes his seat a little cooler, not as hot. And I think that's what he wants. You're right now 4-2. You won 4 games in a row. Do you really want to mess that up and put Cam Newton in? And let's face it, last time I saw Cam Newton against the Buccaneers, he was awful. He was awful. And this is a thing we should point out here. Christian McCaffrey's had 2 bad games this season, okay? 2 bad games, both against the Buccaneers. One they lost, one they won. The one they lost, Cam Newton was not able to put the team on his shoulders and win the game. Kyle Allen did that. Christian McCaffrey last week, he got shut down, but Kyle Allen was able to put the team on his shoulders and play a good game and led them to victory. That's huge right there. If you're making that decision who I want to put in, Cam Newton was not able to win the game when Christian McCaffrey was shut down. When Christian McCaffrey was shut down last week, Kyle Allen was able to win the game. My mind is Kyle Allen as flashy as Cam Newton. He's probably not going to have all the as exciting plays as Cam Newton had in his career, but to me, this guy could lead you to playoffs. I'll say that. Cam Newton, he's too inconsistent. So I'm going to go with Kyle on that one. And I'm briefly going to touch the Bridgewater and Brees because people try to make that the same situation. To me, it's completely not, because, yeah, I like Teddy Bridgewater, and I think he's playing well. I think I'll say this, he's playing better than I thought he would. But Drew Brees is a Hall of Famer. Drew Brees is one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. No one's ever said that about Cam Newton, even in his best season. You know, Drew Brees is a Hall of Famer. And the last time we saw him, he did a great comeback win against the Houston Texans in Week 1. So no, Drew Brees, there's, a lot of people saying that, he's getting older, right? But I think he still has enough in the tank. Now, he should have been in the Super Bowl last year if it wasn't for that bad call. I think Drew Brees will be fine. I say when he gets healthy. Now, I would say this, with Bridgewater playing this well, I wouldn't rush Brees back. I want to make sure he's 100% healthy when he comes back. And I think this could work out to your advantage. Because to me, Drew Brees was amazing last year. But you saw him at the end of the season, he started playing a little bit worse. And he started, he wasn't performing as well as he did at the beginning of the season. And I think it's because his arm was wearing out a little bit. Now that he's going to miss, 6 weeks, maybe, they don't have to rush him back. So 6 weeks, maybe more, maybe less. Maybe that means his arm will be fresher, and he'll be able to play at a high level going into the playoffs and hopefully into the Super Bowl. So, I think, congratulations on Bridgewater, you're 4-0. But I think Brees is going to go back in. There's no way you're going to keep a Hall of Fame quarterback like Drew Brees on the sidelines. And that's not, anything against Teddy Bridgewater. It's not. I think he's playing well. That Saints defense, though, is playing well because there's 2 games now against the Jaguars and the Cowboys. Teddy Bridgewater really didn't light it up, but that defense is what won them. So if Drew Brees comes back with that defense, they can be even better than they are now. Anyway, so the second take I'm going to talk about is the 49ers the best team in the NFL? Well, let's see. I think, I was looking at the schedule of the teams they play. They played some good teams because I know a lot of people saying, well, I haven't seen them play against an elite team yet. Well, the people who most people say is the best team is the Patriots. Show me one elite team they played. The best team to play is the Buffalo Bills, and they barely won on. If it wasn't for that block punt, they may have not won that game. So, I think the 49ers have played better teams than the Patriots have. But listen, this is the point. The 49ers defense is really, really good. Not many people talking about them. A lot of people talking about the Patriots defense, they haven't run against a good offense, because even the Buffalo Bills, who's a good team, has a really bad offense. The 49ers are playing against better offenses. They allowed 17 points, 20 points, 3 points, and 7 points. So in the last 2 games, they allowed 10 points. That's really impressive, and even especially in today's NFL. In today's NFL, well, everyone's thrown for a 20-point game now is average. Maybe some people consider it bad. The fact they haven't allowed more than 20 points, that's impressive. The 49ers now for the last couple of years have drafted. And that defensive line, they've been getting a lot of people in that defense, and specifically that defensive line. And I was wondering, I haven't seen it really manifest or show itself yet, but it's finally this year. They are getting after the quarterback. I love Richard Sherman. I think he's playing like he did before he hurt his Achilles, which I didn't know if he still had that in him. I mean, he's shown he does. I think that's a great defense. I would put that defense against any other defense in this NFL. I really will. The defense is actually, the number 1 in the pass and number 3 in the rush. Okay, I'll take that. That's really, really good. Now this is by yards, but I just spout that off. So I don't know how many touchdowns they've allowed, but Yards is pretty important, and the fact that they're 1 to 3, I'll take that. Jimmy Garoppolo's numbers don't really jump out at me. He's at 69% completion. That's good. 7 touchdowns, 5 picks. It could be a little better. The running game is pretty decent. But the thing is, the offense, I think what they really need to get that going is maybe a good receiver, a true number 1. They don't really have it. I think if they can get one, that would help them tremendously. But I still think the offense is good enough. The offense is good enough that I think they could go to a Super Bowl. I really do. Like a team like the Buffalo Bills, who has a great defense, but that offense is not going to a Super Bowl. 49ers, I like Jimmy Garoppolo enough. And I love Kittle. I think he's a great weapon. I love the running game enough that I think they can win. They can put enough points that this 49ers defense, if you get 17, 20 points, this defense can protect that. This defense can help you win it. And so I guess to summarize that, if Patriots and 49ers win each other in the Super Bowl, that would be a good game, I think. I would take the 49ers. I would, because I'm actually not impressed with the Patriots offense. Nope. Some people might say Tom Brady is getting old. You can make that argument. Some people say it's a lack of weapons, because that team has no weapons on offense. And I think maybe both is true to a point. But no, I think this defense would do really well, because that pass rush will get to Tom Brady. Tom Brady showed that he's not near as good when you're constantly in his face. I guess that's true with any quarterback. But that pass rush, I love Bosa. He looks really, really good. This pass rush can get to Tom Brady early and often. That second day can be good enough to pick him off, because Tom Brady's thrown some dumb picks this season. So I think that defense would do well. And I think the Patriots defense is really good. But I think the 49ers offense would be actually, this sounds real saying, I think the 49ers offense can put up more points against the Patriots defense than I think the Patriots offense would do it against the 49ers defense. I think the 49ers defense is not being talked about enough. I love that defense. I love them. Because again, I think Patriots and Bills are really the defenses that people are talking about the most. The 49ers defense, that's really good. And I love John Lynch. He's been quietly putting this team together for a while, and it hasn't really showed. Now, granted, they had some injuries last year with Jimmy Garoppolo, but this year, it really looks like everything he's been drafting now is coming together, and it's really looking, and I would say this, it took me by surprise. 49ers was not a team. Now, I can't remember what I had the prediction at the beginning of the year, but it was something like 8-8. And I thought, I'm like, you know what? I see it. I think they're going to be better this year. And I think they're going to be making that step to a better team. And I said 8-8, something like that. And I thought that was, a lot of people think I'm crazy for that. Well, they're 5-0. So, barring that they really fall off a cliff, they're going to beat my prediction, though. And I know Richard Sherman's always, last 2 weeks now, he's been going on that rant about, about people that says they're not going to be good, stay in that position. But, I don't think he really knows what media is supposed to do, because the media, it's okay to change your opinion. You're going to have your opinions on teams before the season, but you adjust those as the season goes on. So I don't know why he's so... Make sure you stay in that bandwagon. Make sure you stay in the... I don't get it. But anyway, so the next thing I'm going to talk about is the Eagles and Cowboys and who has the edge. Now, I think that might be the most important game that I'm going to keep an eye on this week. I love the Cowboy-Eagles matchup, and I think this week's going to be, this year, in week 7, it's going to be really big, because both teams are 3-3. Both teams are not what they wanted to be at this point of the season. I think both teams have really good rosters. Really, really good rosters. But neither's playing like it. Granted, both teams right now has got a lot of injuries, but, what happened to the next man up kind of mentality? So I think with the Eagles, I've been disappointed, one, with the pass blocking. I thought the offensive line's got, some people that should be blocking better than they are. I've been really disappointed in Howard. I didn't think he's been running the ball as well as I would like him to. Deshaun Jackson being out, that hurts them. That just backs up the defense. That makes it where you can walk underneath with Zach Ertz and Alshon Jeffrey. So, I think that's hurting them. When he comes back, which I heard there's a chance, but it's not likely. It's not likely that he'll come back, is what I've been reading. But that would help him tremendously. But when he comes back, that should help him a little bit. But I'll say this. I've been a Vince fan. I like Vince a lot. But he's not been playing as well as I thought he would this year. I really thought coming back, that he'll be able to play better than he is now. Ronald Darby and Jalen Mills, the two starting cornerbacks for the Eagles, will be back this game. That can't help but to help the Eagles because, the secondary is so bad. But the thing is, Mills and Ronald Darby, they both, they've been beaten plenty before. So it's not like they're getting two shut down corners back. So I'm not going to say, the secondary is fixed because those two, they've had their issues before. But again, you're getting two cornerbacks back. It can't help but to help them a little bit. And what should help them, and this is a huge blow to me. This is a huge blow. Amari Cooper is doubtful. He's doubtful. They say there might be a chance that even if he plays, he's not going to play at full level. So he's doubtful. I think that should help a lot because Dak Prescott, he wasn't doing so well last year. There was 3-5. They brought in Amari Cooper. His numbers went off the charts. The Cowboys started winning like crazy. This year, they both looked like they was doing really well. When Amari starts getting taken out of the game / getting hurt, Dak Prescott does not look the same. So you're going to take him out. You don't have Randall Cobb. You have Gallup and Jason Witten, basically. And I would say this, Witten's doing better than I thought he would. But he's still, he's not a number one option. If he's your main guy you're throwing to, you're in trouble. Now I would say this, I don't know why I can feel it. I feel like Dak Prescott's going to have a good game here because a lot of people are saying, his receivers are done, he's not going to play as well. But I really do think that he's going to put this team on his shoulders and play a good game. Well, the Eagles secondary is not that good, but I still think I don't know, with me and hit Dak Prescott. I put him somewhere in the mid-range. I really do. I think he's going to light up the bad defenses, and he's going to not do so well against the good defenses. That's my input. I think he's a middle-of-the-pack quarterback. But one thing I do like about him, this is one thing I'll give him, I think he's a good leader. I really think he's a really good leader, and I think he sees that they're falling. They're falling hard. They're 3-3 now. They lost the last 3 games. I think he's going to put this team on his shoulders and play a really good game. If I was Cowboys, I'd be a little disappointed in 2 things right now. DeMarcus Lawrence, he has not looked good. He just got his big contract. He has not looked like DeMarcus Lawrence at all. And Ezekiel Elliott, he hasn't done awful. And last week he did really well. He had roughly 150-yard scrimmage. But he's still not looking like Ezekiel Elliott. So that's 2 people you just paid a lot of money that is not performing like they should. They're not performing as well as they do in like the last couple years. So I'd be just disappointed in that if I was the Cowboys. That's something, I'll see how that plays out. With DeMarcus Lawrence, I don't know why maybe it's after the surgery, maybe he's trying to get back going. And maybe with Ezekiel Elliott, he's just still trying to find his legs after being in Cabo all off season. But, being week 6, going into week 7, they need to get going. They need to get going before this season gets away from them. But, if I had to say who has the edge on that one, I'm going to say it's going to be tough because usually if it's a toss-up, I usually go with the home team. And the Cowboys are home. But I think I'm going to go with Eagles just because they'll get a little bit healthier with the cornerbacks. The Cowboys are, no Cobb, no Amari Cooper. That's going to hurt them. Eagles, even though the pass rush has been a little lacking, in my opinion, I think the Eagles should have much better the pass rush than they do. But I think they're going to, I think they're going to get after Dak this week because the tackles for the Cowboys, those 2 starting tackles are out and the backups don't look so good. Dak's running for his life. I think they're going to get after Dak, and I think even though Dak's going to play a pretty good game, I'm going to still take Eagles on this one, a close one, but I'm going to take the Eagles on that. But I would say this, both teams are underachieving a little bit to me, and I think both teams, if they continue going like this, whoever wins the division is going to get bounced pretty fast out of the playoffs once they get there, unless they get themselves going. All right, the next thing I'm going to talk about is Kansas City. Is there a problem in Kansas City? They won 4 straight. They look as good as they did last year. Now they lost 2 straight. You guys may have already seen this, but the Chiefs, or Patrick Mahomes rather, he never scored less than 25 points in this whole, I was going to say rookie season, but really, I guess it was a sophomore season of last year. That's pretty impressive. But 2 weeks in a row, he was held under that. Now, last Sunday it was only 24 points, so it was only by a point. But still, 13 and 24 points, that's not good. not great in Mahomes standards. So is there a problem in Kansas City? Yes, there is. And this is why I say it. Do I love Mahomes? Yes. Do I think Mahomes is the best quarterback right now? Absolutely, I do. But there's a couple things that bothers me. One, the running game. The running game is not that good. The running game, they were so much better when they had Kareem Hunt. They don't have him, and now this year the running game is even worse than it was last year without him. It's not that good, and especially the last 2 weeks. You got Eric Fisher is out as a tackle, so you get more pass rush in Mahomes' face. And I think that the biggest issue for me, and that's some issues there, are that you're not protecting him as well. You're not running the ball as well. You can't be one-dimensional. I don't care how good you are. You cannot be one-dimensional. Now, it is good that he got Hill back, and Hill did look good against the Texans. But, I think you still got to be able to protect him. Now, the biggest issue for me is the Kansas City Chiefs cannot stop the run. And what's the best way to beat a great quarterback is keep his butt on the sidelines. And that's exactly what they're doing with Mahomes. I mean, the fact, you look how the Chiefs and Texans just ran it down the throat. Mahomes could not get on the field. I mean, he literally could not get on the field. That was the craziest time of possessions that I've ever seen, how different it was. Mahomes the second half did not get on the field hardly, and that's how you beat him. Because when he comes out, he's not going to be very warmed up. He's not going to be very fresh. I guess be fresh, but he's not going to be very in sync and chemistry with his offense because they've been sitting on the sidelines. So I think, and that scares me. Their defense was bad last year. I think their defense is just as bad, if not worse, because the running game, their run stop, I guess, is terrible, awful, and that is not what you need in the playoffs. I'm sorry. Do I think Chiefs are going to win the division? Yes. Do I think they're going to make the playoffs? Yes. So I guess when I say, is there a problem in Kansas City? Yes and no. They're going to be fine in the sense if making the playoffs is fine for you. Now, if you think this team is a Super Bowl team, if this is a team that you got charted to be representing the AFC in the Super Bowl, then I think there's a problem. Because I don't think with that run defense, I do not think they're going to make the Super Bowl. I mean, running in the playoffs when it gets cold, that's when you start running the ball. They're going to run it down the Chiefs' throat, and Mahomes is not going to be able to get on the field. And even Frank Clark called out the defense and said that, they're not, stopping the run very well. I don't remember how he wrote it exactly, but he just basically said that, they'll just not get in the hole. They're not stopping the run. And I think he said something like they lost motivation to stop the run. Well, you need to find it. You get paid to stop the run, okay? You need to find it and get out there and do it. Or your great quarterback cannot do a thing on the sidelines, So anyway, last but not least is it panic time in Cleveland? My answer to that is it doesn't have to be. And what I mean by that, you have a running back in Chubb. I don't think people realize how good he is. He's a really good running back, okay? Give him the ball. Give him the ball some more. And then when he's tired, give it to him again. Because Baker Mayfield, what a shock this is for me. I loved him in college. He was one of my favorite people to watch. He was one of my favorite quarterbacks in college football I've ever watched. I thought, this guy's going to be special. He did not turn the ball over, but yet he wasn't like a safe quarterback who would just throw 2 yards, 2 yards, 2 yards. And everything that he threw never put the ball in harm's way. I loved watching him and watching him play, and I thought he was going to be a star. And then I thought he did really well his rookie season. He won, the MVP for the rookies. He broke the record of the most touchdowns by a rookie. I thought, this guy's going to be good, just like I thought. Wow, I've never seen someone throw picks as much as he's doing. I mean, the amount of picks he has right now is just ridiculous. I don't know what's going on with him. I know the offensive line sucks, okay? So I know that he's, they got to fix that, okay? And I know Odell's been dropping some. Now, granted, last, Sunday he had over 100 yards, but he's been dropping some. But I'll say this. Baker doesn't look like he's got his mojo. He does not look like he's as confident and fearless and as, he does not look like the same guy. He does not. So until he finds that out, run Chubb. Be a run-first team, pass, play action second. When Freddie Kitchen figures that out, I think they'll be fine, okay? They still can win that division. Yes, I know they're 2-4, but that division is not great. The Ravens is pretty good. But, if the Ravens drop off a little bit and the Browns pick it up, because Browns' schedule gets easier at the end of the year, okay? I don't count them out yet. But Freddie Kitchens got to coach this team to its strengths. And granted, I know you got good receivers, and I think you have a good quarterback. So I guess maybe you just get over, you think those people can perform better than they're playing right now. But being 6 weeks into the season, they're not playing well, okay? Let's stop running Chubb. Let's run Chubb down the throat, okay? Then do some play actions, start making some easy reads for Baker. Get his mojo back, okay? So, I think I honestly, I think some people think I'm crazy for saying this, but I think if they get back to doing that, I think they can win this division, okay? I really do. I think it's going to be between the Ravens and the Browns. And I know Steelers are 2-4, so they're tied with the Browns. I don't, Mason Rudolph or Hodgson, I'm not a believer in them. I don't think they're going to be that good at all. And again, I know they're tied with the Browns, but I still believe in the Browns. I still think they have a recipe for being a good team. One thing I also want to see who step up, because we talk about Baker a lot. We're talking about that offense a lot, which we should. They have a lot of weapons, but they're not really producing. But someone I think that really needs, a unit that really needs to step up is that defense. I think the defense has a lot of playmakers, just as much on defense than they do offense. And the defense has some good games under the belt, but they're not playing great. They're not doing super. They're not, playing as well as I think they should with those playmakers, okay? I mean, you look at that defense, you're like, that defense on paper, which I know football's not playing on paper, but if you looked at it, you'd be like, they should be top 10, maybe top 5. Not quite playing like that, and I think that would help the Browns a lot if the defense could step it up. So I think both units need to step it up. But I think you start running the ball, you start giving the defense more of a rest, you start giving Baker Mayfield less stress and less, I hate to say it because I thought, less responsibility. I think things will go up and up for the Browns. And I realized they did run the ball a lot last week, and they still got the L. But I think if you start doing that week by week by week, I think they will be fine. When Kareem Hunt comes back, that should help them even more. So I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up in Cleveland, and I know the 2-4. A lot of people has already gave up on the Browns. I have not. To be honest, I know they're playing the Patriots next, and so I'm already writing that actually as a 2-5. I am, and I still wouldn't give up, but if they go 2-6, or even win 1, 3-6, and they lose again, or 3-7, I would give up on them. I'm gonna give them one more lose to the Patriots, and then I need them to win out, or at least close to. And because I honestly, and I know a lot of people think I'm nuts for saying this, I think the Ravens will be 9-7-ish this year. I think Browns gonna do that if you look at the back end of the schedule, and so I'm not giving up on the Browns yet. The Browns were on a little tougher of a division. I probably would have, but they're not. So I think the Browns can still make the playoffs. Now, granted, I'm not, before the season started, even though they was not my AFC Super Bowl pick, I was like, I wouldn't be shocked if they was. I can see the Browns making that. I'm not saying that anymore for sure, but I'm still talking about wild card. Can they do that? I think so. Well, anyway, that is my 5 picks of JP5Takes. I hope you like it. Please like, subscribe, and you agree or disagree, which I'm sure there's a lot of people. There's nothing to get people, arguing and disagreeing more than sports on the internet. So please comment if you agree or dislike something. And I guess I'll see you next time. I'm out.